Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Aditi from the Global Wildlife Fair team. As a part of our exhibitor webinar series, we invite our exhibitors to share their expertise and on-ground experience with wider community. Today's session features Muddy Lessons, one of our exhibitors, focusing on ecology and sustainable practices. In this webinar, we explore why biodiversity is essential to our lives, how development at the cost of nature impacts ecosystems, and how small conscious changes in human behavior can support a more sustainable future. We are pleased to welcome Mr. Jay Sharma, environment, wildlife, and nature educator and founder of Muddy Lessons, who will be leading today's session. I now invite Mr. Sharma to begin.
Thank you, Pooja. Wonderful introduction. And good evening to all. And I see a lot of my students, a lot of my, old and new students. So good to see them in spite of the exams and the busy schedules. So let me just put my screen on share. We have already taken some extra time. So basically, I firstly thank Global Wildlife Fair to give this opportunity because it's a wonderful platform for like-minded people, the concerned conservationist citizens who care about Mother Nature, whether through wildlife, whether through conservation, whether through travel, whether through ecotourism, or whether through ecologists. Anybody connected to nature and concerned will be aware of Global Wildlife Fair and the platform they provide for such opportunities. So today's topic is ecology and sustainable practices. So basically, when we say ecology or sustainable tourism, it is a bridge or gap, filling the gap between ecosystem, ecology, and economy. Both have to go simultaneously, both have to be taken care of. And to give you a small introduction, Muddy Lessons is a unique startup which is using the philosophy of conservation through education and helping people to connect with nature to develop deeper understanding, empathy, and awareness of natural world. There's a saying that unless and until we value something, we will not care for it. And how will we value? By learning, by knowing, and by understanding the role each small organism to the largest players in the field, that is lions, tigers, elephants, giraffe, they all play equal role and they all are important. So I've been promoting nature wildlife education for almost 30 years now, being part of National Geographic, IUCN CEC, that is Commission on Education and Communication, and Commission on Climate Change, and UNESCO Education, and Nature for All Canada, and many more. So what we do, a brief about it, we support schools through curiosity-based environmental awareness projects where the classroom is outside the four walls. Nature is the teacher, and we experience in fun-based activities and programs. We also support corporates in CSR partnership on conservation awareness, education programs, and biodiversity assessments. And for the parents, for individuals, there's always a positive sign that we take individual trips or customized trips, groups in India or abroad, but focusing on connecting or developing a connect with wildlife and nature. So that's always sustainable and eco-friendly. We do not promote a lot of, say, high-end or luxury tours. Now, starting with why do we need biodiversity? Now, you'll be surprised that I've not put a tiger or a leopard or elephant photo here. These are the tiny organisms which we ignore or which we do not know. The ants play one of the biggest role as soil engineers, as decomposers, as rotating the nutrition and carbon of the soil continuously, along with the other soil engineers like earthworms, millipedes, the slugs, the other arthropods and all, beetles and all. So they are very important players of the soil. The next bird, the sunbird, this is the female of the purple sunbird, where you can see the pollens on the beak. So when they are going to flower, to suck nectar, to eat their food, they indirectly or unknowingly also carry the pollens from one flower to another flower, helping as pollinators. So they are nectivorous birds which feed on the flower nectars and all and help in pollination. The next is the dragonfly, one of my favorite bio pest controllers. Means natural pest controller. They are not chemical. They are not fertilizers. They are not any lab based or lab grown converters or controllers. They are natural predators of insects and keeping us safe from mosquitoes and other insects. To give you example or to give you the interesting facts about dragonfly, they hold three world records. One is they are the fastest in reflex in insect kingdom. They fly the longest in the insect kingdom in migration up to 18 to 20,000 kilometers from India to South Africa, and all their wings are independent, the four wings, so that they can hover anywhere. So they've inspired a lot of biomimicry. Helicopter is one example, and they are voracious eaters. They can eat up to 5,000 mosquitoes per day. So that means every 2 to 3 seconds they eat mosquitoes. That their reflection and the speed help them. So they're amazing creatures and they're ecological indicators of our lakes and our health of the ecosystem. The fourth one is a very tiny bat, which you may see as a butterfly or as a moth in the evenings, on especially the fruiting trees like the Singapore cherry or bananas. And they are called pipistrelle bat, which is again a biopest controller. What the dragonflies do in the daytime, these tiny creatures do it in the night. They control mosquitoes and insects and other pests, and they eat about 3 to 5,000 mosquitoes per night. So they are not silently flying or just passing the time. They are playing their important roles whenever, wherever they are. And sorry, the bats are also the third largest group of pollinators. The first are the honeybees, second are the butterflies, and then comes bats. So you'll be surprised that most of our fruits are pollinated by bats and then birds later on. We see another tiny bird called oriental white-eye, which is trying to search something. And when I watched closely, when I took the photo and when I enlarged the photo, I found out that it is eating aphids, which through our naked eye we could not see. But the brain to eye ratio of the birds are very large. And that's the reason they're able to see tiny insects. And that's why God has given them that special capacity, that character, and that uniqueness, so that they can control those pests and they can control those insects which keep eating the plants and destroy them. Who can deny the role of owls? They are wonderful creations of the planet, the earth, and they're one of the most silent flyers. That uniqueness gives them the edge over anybody else to hunt in the night with the vision to see in the night. And they are directly responsible for controlling more than 800 to 1,000 rodents per year. That means one single owl can control a population of about 8 to 800 to 1,000 rodents. Why do we need to control rodent population? Why do they become, what do they do when they become pests, when they multiply too much? You leave one pair of rodent, they can multiply to 18,000 per year. And as per the economics, as per the statistics, the loss to the crop caused by rodents and other pests like locust is $3 trillion, which could be more than some economy of some country. So we need these nature's creations, these magical creatures, wonderful biodiversity on our planet to keep the pest under control. We don't need chemicals and fertilizers that much the way we are using rampantly. Same role is with snakes, and each of these creatures are part of food chain, are part of food web. They support either downline or upper line. Snakes also have similar role. God has given them such a beautiful body to slither through and go into any kind of cavities. And that's why they are able to smell and use their thermal imaging, use their senses to locate rodents and other lizards or small creatures inside underground and hunt them and keep them under check. And in the air, we got beautiful eagles. I'll just put one here. That's the Brahmini kite. And we got amazing raptors which control all these creatures, the smaller birds, the smaller dragonflies, the bats, the ants, the insects. So we need biodiversity at every stage. We need them as pollinators, we need them as food providers, we need them as seed dispersers, we need them as predators, we need them as biopest controllers. So that brings to the main topic of ecotourism. Why should we go for ecotourism? Why should we use ecotourism as a tool, as a mechanism to enjoy, learn, and also connect people? So unless and until we know the role, unless and until we go to such places, so ecotourism is basically a combination of two words. One is sustaining nature, that is nature conservation, and benefiting the community. If the community's stomach is not full, if the community is not able to earn bread and butter, why should they bother? Why should they care for nature? And that's the exact reason ecotourism has to support both. There has to be responsible traveling, there has to be well-being of people, and there has to be education and awareness for both the tourist as well as the community. If the community is not responsible or caring about their surrounding environment or the species they are protecting, in the upcoming slide you'll see species-based conservation, how it's supporting entire village or entire community. For example, this photograph is from recent visit to Darjeeling, Sonada, and I'm sure Dipra is watching this. He'll be happy. And this was a wonderful place where we had black leopards also moving around. We didn't see them, of course. We heard from people that they have been seeing regularly, and we had amazing birds. And the community which is taking care of it, they are themselves the farmers, they are themselves the caretakers, they are themselves the owners. So it supports both ways. And we had wonderful treks, wonderful trails, wonderful bird watching sessions. So the dual benefit of the ecotourism has to be highlighted, has to be covered. That is biodiversity protection from ants to the largest animal found in that area. Habitat preservation, that's very important. If I'm going to watch some bird in a particular area and if the habitat is not protected, the bird moves away or is getting extinct, who would like to go to that area? As simple as that. So it is a responsibility of both tourists as well as the community, which have to be more possessive and more responsible in habitat preservation. Educating all on sustainable ecotourism, that means economical, that means no non-polluting, no wastage, whether it's clothes, food, or plastic, and no exploitation, no damage to any property or surroundings. So it has to strengthen both. For the community, it helps in job creation, improve local infrastructure, preserve culture, local community-led initiatives. We'll understand each example in the upcoming slides. So this is again in Darjeeling, the community along with the support from DIPRA and the team of Srijana and their friends, they're doing wonderful job involving youth in conservation, youth in livelihoods. Somebody is good in driving, has a vehicle, runs a travel agency. Somebody has got a home, runs a homestay. Somebody has got a farm or forest nearby, runs trekking or birding. Somebody is good in birding, works as a guide. So this is how we support. That's the exact meaning of ecotourism, where we can lead community-led, community-based initiatives. So when we see India, when we look at India, it's very huge, one of the most biodiverse nations in the world. One side we should be proud, second side we should also be alert, third side we should be more responsible towards protection. Not many countries are fortunate, not many continents are fortunate to have such variety of biodiversity, total approximately 93,000. From snow leopards to lion-tailed macaque, from the very rare bird, the Bugun lokila that is found in Arunachal, and Nilgiri sholaki. Very rare birds. And this is again recent bird we saw, rufous-necked hornbills. If this bird vanishes, who will go to Latpanchar? That's a very hot spot for birding for many people. So we have amazing areas. We have in Karnataka also. I'm basically from MP Bhopal, but settled in Bangalore. So I've traveled almost all the parts of Karnataka. We got 5 tiger reserves, 18 conservation reserves, 36 wildlife reserves, and 1 community reserve. So we have amazing biodiversity, including the giant tarantula. Not many people know that India has got tarantulas. Bangalore has got tarantula, to all of your surprise. Not the biggest one, but yes, the small ones. So ecotourism in Karnataka, in a nutshell, we have got hotspots from national parks to wildlife sanctuaries. We have got hill stations, ghat, hiking. I'm not going to the heritage sites because then that will divert or distract our main topic of ecology and conservation. Now let's come to some real-time examples of successful conservation success stories through ecotourism. When ecotourism, as I said, conservation plus community benefit, supports both, builds awareness. One is Kaziranga in Assam, one-horned rhino. Now the numbers are close to say 3 to 4,000, which is a very safe number. They had dwindled down to 200. And the success and the entire Kaziranga, Manas, and that side is running on the tourism on basically on the rhino. Kali Tiger Reserve, great success in Karnataka due to the great Hornbill Conservation Program. Now it is one of the favorite hotspots, not just for birders, for people looking at rafting, people looking at tigers or black panther sightings, people looking at just trekking. And one of the best is again Amur Falcon. That's in Assam and Nagaland, where the Amur Falcon, I'll go in detail of these projects. Red Panda in Sikkim and West Bengal, which is supporting lot of tourism industry there and the local communities. Lion-tailed macaque in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and parts of Karnataka. The reintroduction of cheetah in Madhya Pradesh, that's again a success story, how Palpur Kuno is developing. And I'm fortunate to get involved in the earliest studies of the feasibility of having cheetahs. There were reports of tigers and lions sharing the same habitat and the landscape 50 years back, 80 years back. And now nothing was found there, and we have reintroduced the cheetah. And recently from Ranthambore, a tiger has reached Palpur Kuno. That means there was earlier, they were earlier found together. Now again, they are coming back together. Panna, a great success story. One of my mentors, Srinivas Murthy sir, Rangai Murthy sir, he is the pioneer. He is the he has taken one man decision, and he has been supported then by the department and localites. How it was done, we'll understand in the upcoming slide. So when we see Kali, now great hornbills have been always worshipped, have been always the apex predators in the bird kingdom in a large area, and they are very vulnerable. When we say vulnerable means they are very susceptible to large variations in weather or the their favorite food items. They eat everything. They eat snakes, they eat lizard, they eat spiders, they eat fruits, but they are particularly fond of the figs, the ficus. Why? Because these are giant birds, they don't make nest. They use hollows and burrows of these large trees to nest. And when the numbers dwindled, and we have got hornbills in very few locations, few patches of Kerala, few patches of Tamil Nadu, few patches of Western Ghats, and then the Northeast. We have few in Corbett. This photograph is from Corbett, recent visit. That means this bird was endangered, critically endangered under the IUCN Red List. And when we started, the conservation project started way back 15 years back. Now the conservation status has come to vulnerable. That means they are in safe numbers. They're still not out of danger, but the ecotourism in Kali has developed around it. You see the Kali camp, they've got 3 camps in Kulgi, Anshi, and I'm sure most of the students who are here have visited with me in those camps. We have enjoyed safaris, we have enjoyed the rafting. So the camp is run by local village committees, which are trained by us, trained by Forest Department. They handle everything from booking to safaris to guides to birding. Then we got local tribal dances festivals, we got elephant camps, we got bee farm. So it's an entire community which gets benefited in these kind of projects. As I said, Panna, 2008, 2009, Panna was famous for no tigers. From 100 tigers, it went to zero tigers in no time because of poaching, poaching, poaching. And there was rampant killing of tigers. And in 2008, 2009, when the reintroduction program started, this particular collared tiger is P151. So T1, T2 were the tigers bought from Bandhavgarh and Kana. So that's how we named them. Over the years, when Murthy sir took over and he promised villagers that I will save the your bread and butter, but you have to save the tiger to run your house. You don't have to let it go vanish again, let it go extinct again. You have to protect it. The tiger is running your home. Tiger is running your jeeps. Tiger is running your ecotourism. And then the villagers started supporting the government, and the response from the government was tremendous. The very fast rehabilitation or the remuneration when the cattle was killed by some tiger or they found some poachers, immediately the action was taken. Today, the result is Panna has got more than 90 tigers, and recently they've shifted 7 to 8 tigers to different locations, small sanctuaries to expand the gene pool. That's it. Sanjay Dubri National Park, which is upcoming tiger reserve, and also surrounding areas of Bandhavgarh. From two jeeps where people started moving out or people started committing suicide because of non-payment of their dues or EMIs, the resorts have grown from two jeeps. Now Patna has got over 80 jeeps in different gates. And people are flourishing, resorts are flourishing, ecotourism is flourishing, and people are enjoying. They're able to see 3 to 4 tigers per day during the normal day of safari. And for your information, Patna is also the capital of vultures. It is one of the most successful vulture rehabilitation or protection programs, conservation program. We all know the important role vultures play. They are one of the most important scavengers. They are the most important cleaners of the garbage or the waste or the dead form of life, that is animals or birds, and they clean it, keep us safe from diseases. So vultures are very important. Panna is blessed to have all 8 species of vultures found during winter migrations, from the Himalayan griffon to the cinereous to the Egyptian, all the vultures coming from across the country and even some from abroad. Now, Nagaland, the one of the most successful ecotourism program or the conservation program. Now again, till 2012, 10 to 12, these birds were hunted in large numbers. This became a game, Amur falcon, which use the migratory route from Mongolia, and there's a pit stop in our Nagaland, and they go to Africa. And during that pit stop, when 10, 15 lakh birds used to come, people started hunting them. This became very famous. This became a sport, and the bird numbers dwindled to few thousands. Do you think we should kill these birds, make them extinct? And when they travel 22,000, should we give them a better rest, better home host facility, or a welcome, or rather kill them, eat them, finish them? But in just 2, 3 years, 4 years, people realized, the villagers realized their crop production was dropping, the outcome or the productivity was dropping. Then, through some NGOs and some researchers, the study showed that the falcons were taking the pit stop and getting rid of the pest, the locust, and the other grasshoppers which were destroying the crops. Each falcon, on an average, was eating about 20 to 30 such flies or the insects, and that was contributing to 5 to 8 grams of their protein diet. When the people realized this, when people understood that the value of this falcon, the Amur falcon, and when the government put very strong policy, they used to take away the licenses of the guns and take away the guns during the migratory period. Now this has become an annual festival, the Amur Falcon Festival in Nagaland. During the migration season, you can see almost 1 lakh birders and visitors visiting Nagaland. It's a true and very recent, very successful program of one species running the entire ecotourism in that area. That's the power of biodiversity. That's the power of nature. We just have to respect, we just have to worship, we just have to protect them, and they will feed us for life. That's the way we need to understand the role of biodiversity in our daily lives. We don't have to take them just as sport. We don't have to take them just as meat providers or food providers. Yeah. The next example is very interesting. One of my favorite, Big One. I hope Bapu Kevate has joined. I've requested him to join. He is one of my favorite guides. He is a boatman. He is a guide. He is a travel. He is a jeep driver. He is everything. And his community is doing wonderful there. Big One is one of the Ramsar sites. Ramsar sites are the protected wetlands, just like our national parks, sanctuaries, and tiger reserves, where we protect them for the birds, the migratory birds. Again, we expect everybody to be a good host, give a clean wetland, but we are polluting and destroying our wetlands. We are removing wetlands, converting layouts, buildings, and everything. When 2.5 lakh migratory birds come and 250 plus species are recorded, it's not just the birds. You see the pictures of wolves, you see the picture of fox, you see the picture of hyena. These are endangered species found in that grassland. So the grasslands are not wastelands. When you see this chinkara and background, this is the alarming, this is a disturbing photo. With the fencing, people encroaching land. And I've seen chinkara, dead chinkara stuck up in the fencing. Is it that we are giving them, or is that land ours only? Do the other animals of the biodiversity not need it? And there are beautiful flowers which are flourishing and blooming in August, September after monsoon. The landscape changes, the beauty. So we got amazing, amazing examples of ecotourism supported by one species or one form of life. Nalir Camp, one of my pet projects, one of my favorite projects, where I always thank the Forest Department of Madhya Pradesh, Pech Tiger Reserve, where I had the opportunity and the honor to do Reiki and set up this camp for 5 years. Srijan, who is here, has been to this camp with me, and he will not deny the beauty of this camp. You stay in the tent, opposite side in the river, you have leopard drinking water. Behind that, you have a tiger roaring. And this is the first highway in India built on above the national park, 16 kilometers between Pech, Maharashtra and Pech, Madhya Pradesh, and where in the camera traps genetic diversity is recorded. That means more diverse animal species are moving. They are moving far off so that gene pool is better, healthy. And we got the camp name itself is Flying Squirrel Camp. When you go there, you just enjoy that. You just experience that. We just don't have that. We are cycling, we are bullock cart, we are trek trail in the tiger territory, supported by forest department. It's safe, trust me. You eat local cuisine. That means the local tribal community gets benefited. We have trained them into serving, helping, and keeping the tents or the camp. So we generate opportunity of equal earning, or that's called ecotourism. That's how, unless until we run the economy of these people or the local community. But we have to be very strict on educating them, making them aware that they have to be possessive about these habitats and these species. If they don't protect, who will come? Tomorrow, if I have to go to see the rhino in Africa and I already know it's extinct, why should I go? I may go for other species. But that's the power of these species, and we are losing them rampantly, rapidly. We lost close to 60 to 70% biodiversity in just last, I think, 60 years. And that's an alarming sign. So we all have to come together, embrace responsibility, respecting local culture, ecosystems, avoiding exploitative tourism. That means animal cruelty or damage or hurting local sentiments, holding businesses and destinations accountable for their practice. We love to throw plastic outside our car, outside our vehicle, or outside our rooms. We should not do that. First is we should not carry plastic as much as possible. Do proper waste management. This applies to both tourists as well as the eco resorts or the homestays or the travel agencies. We don't have to give them plastic bottles when they're driving. We got to make sure that they carry their metal bottles and we carry a large jar, keep refilling. In large areas where we have got too many resorts or too many rooms, STP should be compulsory. Reducing noise. Resorts are not for DJs. Resorts are not for your destination marriages, especially within the park reaches, where wildlife is prominent or we can disturb them. We got to avoid these things. Travel responsibly, less weight, less movement, less luggage, support local communities, respect. Now, in this picture, this is a corporate which has funded a Milwaukee forest. This is between Bannaghatta National Park and Bhutanhalli. And this forest is a corridor. We need small corridors. We need animals to move around. We need gene pool to diversify. And within 2 years, we've seen this is an elephant dung I'm holding. We have got proof of elephants. We got evidence of leopard and an occasional tiger also crossing that habitat. That's a wonderful sign. So the forest or the plantation is not just helping trees, oxygen generation, it is supporting the entire ecosystem. So we got to create these kind of awareness. We got to use students, we got to use youth. Amazing example is the anthill. So to summarize, ecotourism is conservation with community prosperity, strengthening the bond between ecology and economy, and creating awareness and sustainable livelihoods. Both the resort owners, the agencies, the homestays, the local community, and as well as people traveling should also be saving, not just spending on very high-end resorts and all. Generally, we don't promote that and we don't support that. Individual choices are different. We give them freedom to people to decide on that. So remember, when nature thrives, community prosper. Youth have the power to change, shape more sustainable future. We got to be more responsible in our responsibilities. It should go beyond travel. It should think of conservation, respect, and responsibility because we need nature more than nature needs us. So let's travel to preserve, not just to explore. Travel responsibly, leave only footprints, take only memories, and decide whether we should be owners of the planet, be on top, play Tetris, keep removing the bottom line. How long can we be leaders and owners? Or give equal respect and equal right to all life forms, all biodiversity, and have a healthy future for all of us. With that, I thank you all, and we'll probably take some questions. We'll be open to questions. Any, you probably the host can open the platform for taking questions on that. So again, thank you, Global Wildlife Fair, for giving this opportunity, and I expect and request people to join this platform. Thank you.
Sir, so I'm Kirtika from the Global Wildlife Fair team,
Okay.
and I wanted to ask how was your experience of exhibiting with us during the last fair?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was wonderful. Gave us a lot of insights, gave us a lot of exposure to wonderful work people are doing across the globe. And we have, I think, developed about 8 to 10 good collaborations. We're already working on a lot of joint projects. Again, focusing on education. It's not just a leisure trip. For example, we're working on Argentina, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and your Galapagos. We're working on Africa. We're working on the Uganda, your chimpanzee and the gorilla. We're working in Malaysia. So, Global Wildlife Fair has been a very apt platform where we have got the opportunity to meet the variety or the I should say gene pool of ecotourism from the resort and the tour operators to the educators to the media people to the travel agencies also. So it's a bridging platform. So the experience was excellent and we are surely coming back.
That's indeed great to hear, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, does anybody have any questions for Jay, sir, so they can ask in the chat, and I'll just read them out loud for sir. Um, so Ajay actually has complimented you, sir. So he says, "Thank you very much, sir, for such great and knowledgeable session. I learned
Thank
new
you.
things, and I'm taking back new learnings. Thank you." And Nishant has a question for you. Any experiences in which you have observed change in tourists' approach to biodiversity and attending such trips and engaging with the local communities?
Yes, of course. Anybody who has gone with me or gone with such intention of supporting ecotourism, that's why we do not go for just hush and bush trips. We go for a longer trip where we spend time with the local community. We understand their culture, we understand their behavior, we understand their problems also. So many people who have gone on their own later on have come back and said, Jay, we saw this and we stopped this. Jay, we saw this plastic waste happening, we stopped this. Jay, we saw people misbehaving, we stopped it. And we didn't carry single piece of plastic. We can. That's the positive sign. So unless until we keep educating them, keep telling them, and that's the reason we have to highlight both the sides. The importance for community as we go as guests, how should we behave, the etiquettes, the discipline, and the civic sense, and also for the community, how they should welcome the guest and support them. And both working together towards conservation. That should be the focal point. That should be the main theme of eco tours. That you're not just going and taking photographs and increasing the lifers. We should be able to use that to educate and promote conservation.
Okay. So does anybody have any more questions? Okay, so Nishant has one more question for you. How much time in minimum is ideal to understand a place and biodiversity in a location?
Depends on how much area you're covering. It could be, say, a simple Jayamagli Blackbuck Reserve near Bangalore, which is a small conservation or community-based initiative reserve where people, the villagers have given of their fields as grasslands and protecting these species of blackbucks. Along with that, there are about 12 raptors visiting there and over 150 birds are spotted there. And I've also heard that there are foxes documented there. So if it's a small area, probably one or two visits, three visits you can do. But if it's a large area, you got to multiple times go there. Minimum spend 2 to 3 days. If you're expecting to learn something, you got to spend time. Then only local people also will open up. They just don't want to share all information with just a person who's coming in the morning and going in the evening. So spend some time with them. You will understand them closer and better, and they will maybe take you to very hidden gems.
Okay. What is the ideal time to visit Bhigwan Sanctuary?
November to February. Now birds are there, and few birds will start migrating. And there are some summer birds also which come from different continents. But right now, November or late November to February is the best time, where you have almost all the food chain following the prey, the ducks, the birds, and then the raptors, the eagles, the harriers, the marsh harriers, the Montego, the pallid, and so on. So the food chain entirely moves together from predator to prey. Thanks,
So,
Nishant.
Nishant says thank you very much for the session and answering the questions. Does, does anybody have any other questions? I think not.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for a thoughtful and insightful session and for sharing your experience and perspective on ecology and sustainable practices. We appreciate the valuable work that Muddy Lessons is doing in promoting conservation through education and community engagement. The recording of this webinar will be shared shortly. Thank you, everyone, for your time and participation. We look forward to welcoming you all to our webinars.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Global Wildlife. Thank you. See you all. Good day.
Thank you, sir.